Hello everyone, as with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Hundreds of trillions. Tokenization revolution. According to the latest World Economic Forum report, there is over $255 trillion in marketable securities just waiting to be unlocked through distributed ledger technology. Here's why the game hasn't changed. Instant settlement. Say goodbye to the waiting 3 days for my money era. Fractional ownership. High-value assets like private equity are being sliced into affordable pieces. Everyone gets a seat at the table. 24/7 markets. The world doesn't stop at 4 p.m. And now neither does trading. Programmability, smart contracts equal compliance and dividends that run themselves. The exploratory phase is officially dead. We are now in the execution era, where assets don't just sit there. They move, compose, and work harder. You know, whenever the World Economic Forum talks about tokenization, right away, I think of the XRP ledger. The World Economic Forum mentioned the XRP ledger multiple times, going all the way back to like 2015, 2016. Ripple was capitalizing on tokenization before any of us were even talking about tokenization. And they're mentioning $255 trillion. They also mentioned that tokenization is an $867 trillion market by 2030. Not in 2030. That means all along the way, we're going to be adding more and more value to the XRP ledger, pushing up the price of XRP. XRP at $10 could deliver best first-year ETF performance ever. I'm telling you now, we are going to see ETF FOMO. Wait until the price of XRP breaks out. You're going to have retail FOMO, ETF FOMO, institutional FOMO is going to be at levels we could only dream about. And the fact that they're pointing out that this would be a historic milestone if the price reaches $10, that means they're already anticipating that happening. Bitcoin's ETF-fueled rally delivered 180% gain after launch, but XRP supporters anticipate a sharper move coming from XRP. And I agree with that. I'm telling you now, if we see a run-up like 2017, 2018, the money that's going to flow into XRP is going to be absolutely insane. Because this time around, we have institutional money here as well. That's what makes me think we're going to go higher. Gold added nearly 20x XRP entire market cap. You know, whenever they talk about the market cap of gold, what people don't realize, that's trillions upon trillions of dollars. So if the market cap 20x's XRP's entire valuation, it's not really that big of a deal. Wait until XRP's market cap is above 10 trillion or 20 trillion or 30 trillion. Things are going to change very quick when they happen. And you're going to look back at these articles and you're going to be like, what was the point of those articles to begin with? It's like they're trying to sell you on gold now all of a sudden. XRP ledger breaks historical record as XRP price paints the number of the beast. What they're talking about is when the price of XRP hit $1.66.6. And it really doesn't matter. We all know that the volume on the XRP ledger, it's going to continue to pick up even more momentum. because we're going to see more and more transactions happening as more and more real world assets continue to come on chain. And I think they threw that number of the beast narrative in there so that this article gained a lot of momentum. Verse on from Black Swan Capitalist. Analyst warns monetary reset is underway with gold as trust and XRP as liquidity. You know, that's what we're looking at. Wait until we see digital gold running across the XRP ledger. Wait until we see XRP moving gold-backed currencies all around the world. That time is coming, and the reset is already happening. People keep saying, oh, well, when's the reset going to happen? You're already living through it. The reset started a long time ago. We're just watching it come together piece by piece now. And when the time is right, everything's going to go live. And that's when we get the flip of the switch moment. U.S. adds $132,987,000,000 to national debt in 1 month, as JP Morgan Chase CEO warns borrowing is unsustainable. So Jamie Dimon is saying, I call this geopolitics and the deficit. I call it more like tectonic plates. They're difficult. They're moving. They may crash. We don't know. And we don't know when. So it isn't a 2026 issue, but our deficit is almost $2 trillion this year. Total debt is $38 trillion. This is unsustainable. And we all knew it was unsustainable a long time ago. But how are they going to fix it? Here's Elon Musk talking about AI and robotics and the U.S. debt.
As long as civilization keeps advancing, we will have AI and robotics at very large scale. I think that's pretty much the only thing that's going to solve for the U.S. debt crisis. You know, because currently the U.S. debt is insanely high, and the interest payments on the debt exceed the entire military budget of the United States. Just the interest payments, and that's at least in the short term going to continue to increase. So I think actually the only thing that can solve for the debt situation is AI and robotics, but it will more than. It might cause. I guess it probably would cause significant deflation, because, you know, deflation or inflation is really the ratio of goods and services produced to the change in the money supply. So if goods and services output increases faster than the money supply, you will have deflation. If goods and services decreases, if real goods and services output increases slower than the money supply, you have inflation. It's that simple. People sometimes try to make it more complicated than that, but it just isn't. So if you have AI and robotics and a dramatic increase in the output of goods and services, probably you will have deflation. That seems likely, because you simply won't be able to increase the money supply as fast as you can increase the output of goods and services. Supply is a real hazard here.
Should we do something about it?
Maybe we can convince it to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And he's saying this is going to happen in 3 years or less. This is why they're going so big on AI right now. They're hoping AI is the savior of the financial system. Right now, they're trying to tokenize the debt. That's the path we're on right now. But even with tokenizing the debt, you still need investors. You still need buyers that want to buy the U.S. debt. So AI, if tokenization fails, then AI is what they're hoping will save the debt crisis. But what it comes down to is this. The spending is not slowing down. Inflation is not coming down. Right away, they point at gas or they'll point at something else. But the one thing they never point at when it comes to inflation is the cost of groceries. And they continue to rise all the time. XRP about to make a new wave of multimillionaires as capital floods in. And in this article, they're talking about what I've mentioned multiple times. Retail and institutions are watching the same asset. So if the price starts to move, they're thinking we're going to see a flood of liquidity into XRP. And it's going to push the price to astronomical levels. And right away, we will see a new class of XRP millionaires happen. But it all comes down to how long you can stay in the game. This is why I always try to keep you positive. I really do want you to cross that finish line. I want you to get life-changing money. I want you to get financial freedom. It's the same reason I keep telling you, why are you in such a hurry to sell your crypto into US dollars? I even believe that they should be valuing things in XRP in the future. I think that's going to happen. I think things are going to be valued out in certain cryptocurrencies. I think you're going to have parallel rails. But the one big thing that's going to happen in the short term is you getting passive income from your crypto. That's going to really open up with institutional adoption. Even if you get to millionaire status and you cash out your bag, okay, you're a millionaire in US dollars, but the US dollar continues to lose value. So how long are you going to keep that millionaire status? You sure as hell have to have a game plan. You got to put that money to work. Maybe you buy a turnkey business like a laundromat or a car wash, or maybe you invest in a new business. Maybe it's a business you want to create. You got to do something with the money. You can't just cash out and maybe you go to the bank and you get $1 million in cash and expect that to last. It's just not going to happen. And why would you want to have US dollars to begin with? I think we're going back to a gold-backed system. I think when they do that, you're going to have fiat for a while, but I think anything digital is going to be gold-backed, and they're not just going to go and say, hey, now if you have paper dollars, you could cash them in for gold. I don't see that happening. I think they're going to create a whole new digital dollar that's gold-backed, and they're going to let the current system just continue to go down to zero. So paper money would end up being useless in the future. But we were on the path to cashless society a long time ago. It started with use of credit cards and debit cards. Most people don't carry cash at all. People are now paying with their phones and they're paying with credit cards and debit cards. And soon it'll be digital dollars. And you'll have a digital wallet tied to your bank. That's the future, and it's coming quick. And it's why I always tell you to enrich yourself before it happens. The rise of AI is going to fast track universal basic income also. You got to get ahead of that curve. XRP already places you ahead of that curve just by holding it. But you can't sell it too soon. That's what it comes down to. That's why you need a game plan. Start working on it before it happens. And until it does happen, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.